I wanted to ask this question. Isn't at the root of the issue of marriage, isn't it a question of people want to make a voluntary, open, and public commitment to each other of a special nature? I think that one would have to recognize that there are many same-sex families that have children. That I think is pretty well recognized today. In fact, I understand the statistics are there were 11,000 people who got married under the after the Supreme Court ruled. And so there are 11,000 couples out there who have marriages in California. We'll get to the question of what's going to happen to all those people if the law changes. But the question I ask as a moral and fundamental social principle is, if people want to make a commitment toward each other, isn't that a moral value that you would approve? Because that's what marriage is all about.
Well, first, Meyer, let me just respond to your comment that there are many same-sex families that have children. I mean, by definition, same-sex families can't have children, so how they obtain children, adoption or artificial insemination, who knows? I would question the fact that you say there are many. There may be some. Secondly, you know, they talk about the rights of same-sex, same-gender people to marry as if it had no effect or no impact on society at large. And the issue really is, and you hear the argument, it goes something like this: look, if somebody wants to get married to somebody of the same sex, same gender, let them do whatever they want. Doesn't affect me and my marriage. I'm heterosexual. I'm fine. But if you look at kind of the overall impact, it may be true that it will not immediately and even directly affect me and my marriage, but as society as a whole, over time, this rising generation gets impacted. We have a huge mountain of evidence that says, science that says, children do best when they have a mother and a father. Classic case in point is the deterioration of the inner city black family, which has migrated to more of a matriarchal model where fathers have largely been absent from the picture. We have mountains of scientific evidence that says fathers in black families are critical to the success of these inner city black children. So I don't think anybody would argue that children do best when they have both a mother and a father, and by definition a same-sex marriage kind of avoids that entire issue. You know, the other issue that comes up all the time, people say, well, it's my right, I get to choose. It's not your right. It is a duty we owe to the rising generation, to the generations of unborn children, to maintain this very careful balance which has been in place for thousands of years. Marriage is an institution that safeguards the child rearing, child protection. It's between a man and a woman. We should be very careful about just creating this kind of random, kind of quick judgment decision using children as guinea pigs or test lab rats to just say, well, let's try it. Let's see how it works. So we just kind of have anything goes. Children can be married, or children can be raised by either a mother and a mother or a father and a father. We have the collective wisdom of thousands of years kind of working in favor of man and woman, traditional marriage, husband and wife.
Well, I'd like to just ask Wayne, though, about the question I raised about, isn't the issue of marriage one of commitment? And don't we promote that as a moral issue? What is wrong with people wanting to make a commitment to each other and have it legally sanctioned by the state?
Well, I don't...
To gain all the duties and responsibilities of a marriage relationship. As you, as an attorney, know, there are many laws that that affect a marriage relationship that don't affect other relationships.
Yeah, the family code is out there, and you know,
the whole of the family code would be brought to bear on any marriage union. And my question is, isn't commitment, though, a moral principle that you would also prove?
Well, commitment is an interesting question, because you can have a lot of things that are committed to each other that are not necessarily going to rise to the level of creating a family. And so if you say, okay, if commitment or love or whatever it is are the criteria for a marriage, well, what's to prevent father and a mother? Things change over time. What's to prevent for a father and mother to say, oh, you know, we love our children now, so we're just going to marry them instead? Or, you know, you have all kinds of permutations that you can come up with, and they sound ridiculous today. just like it might have sounded ridiculous in 300 that, you know, you can't marry somebody from another faith or whatever it might be. But the principle is the same. And to me, commitment's not the issue, not the sole issue. Yes, people who are committed to one another have certainly got an emotional investment with one another. They need some outlet for that, that's fine. But to put that on the level of a marriage is something that we feel is to the detriment of society, that you can have commitment, you can have a long-term relationship, you can have all those things without having the negative impact on society that would rise from putting that into the context of marriage.
Okay, let me give you an opportunity to respond. Aaron?
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to respond.
We only have
to
a few minutes left, so we're going to have to wrap it up.
Okay. A couple things that were said I'd like to respond to is that I happen to know one of those lab rats. I happen to know a woman who has done cutting-edge research in the area of breast cancer, and she and her partner, I've actually lost touch with her. They might be married at this point. I don't know. But they've had a child for many years, and she's one of the most well-adjusted, nicest young women you would ever meet in your entire life. So I happen to know one of those lab rats, and she's, this is my turn now, Kevin. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that I don't think, first of all, no child is guaranteed to have a mother and a father. You know, I don't think you're proposing that we ban single parents, but essentially there are a lot of single parents out there, and there are a lot of people who do grow up without the benefit of seeing a loving relationship. And I do think that those people, there have been studies that show that those people who don't have a certain figure around or another, that might be damaging. But there isn't enough studies about the effects yet of what the situation is, and all I can speak about is my anecdotal evidence. The only study that I'm aware of is the one that was conducted in the Netherlands, where same-sex unions have been recognized for 15 years. And in those countries, the percentage of straight couples getting married has gone up, and the percentage of divorces has gone down. So it has had a positive effect on society overall, not a negative effect.
Let me allow Kevin, to respond.
Well, let me respond to that directly.
We only have about a minute left. So.
I just finished living for 3 years in Brussels, Belgium, and spent countless days and months and weeks in the Netherlands. That nothing could be farther from the truth. Since gay marriage has been enacted in the Netherlands, the percentage of Europeans marrying has gone down, dramatically down. You go to Europe, nobody gets married. Gay marriage has demeaned traditional marriage to the point where it actually has become kind of an antiquated institution. Nobody gets married in Europe anymore.
We're going to have to bring this to a conclusion. I wonder if you would like to give a final...
Well, just very quickly. I mean, the
10
statistics
15
I've heard
seconds.
is 71%, 71% of kids live in non-traditional households in California. That's single parent, foster care, what have you. Is gay marriage your top priority? I mean, if that's it, I mean, is divorce a bigger problem? I mean, why are we raising $25 million to defeat gay marriage and put it on the ballot when, you know, it would seem to me there's some bigger problems out there, but
Okay.
that's for another time.
I'll give you the last word.
Thank you. I don't disagree that those are issues, and those are serious issues. But it kind of proves too much to say, well, gay marriage isn't an issue. If, in fact, we're concerned about families, and if, in fact, we're concerned about making California families strong, we've got to do something about it.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap it up. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for a very interesting and lively discussion. We will be continuing this in another segment, and today we're going to be wrapping it up. Again, this was a dialogue on Proposition 8. We hope the audience has learned many different aspects of this, and we want to thank the San Fernando Valley Bar Association and the Lawyer Referral Service for sponsoring this program. Thank you.